Well, in this case, it would depend on if the person who threw the sandwich knew that the gentleman's allergen was in it. And given that she was reacting to the conversation he had at the food service counter about his allergen, you would think that she did know that the allergen was contained in the sandwich. If the person used the allergen as a weapon to cause or to threaten bodily harm, that can be assault. If the reaction occurred requiring medical treatment as a result of that action, that would be physical assault causing bodily harm. The police would investigate this incident, and when it comes to laying criminal charges, they would look at the knowledge the perpetrator had. If the person had knowledge that they were throwing the victim's life-threatening allergen at that person, and given that she was reacting to a conversation she overheard when this gentleman was trying to place an order and explain the severity of his allergen, you would think that she had the knowledge. And the charges that the police can consider, depending on this situation and the facts underlying it, are assault, disorderly conduct, there's wanton endangerment, and there's administering a noxious substance. I would say that he could consider civil charges as a result of this incident as well for the emotional distress and any physical loss that he had as a result of the incident. There are a few things that would affect us as people with severe allergic conditions. There would be a severe amount of emotional distress caused by having your allergen thrown at you. This is a gentleman who was trying to live his life safely, placing an order appropriately in a restaurant. The language issue aside, what I mean by appropriate is he was notifying the staff, I have a life-threatening allergy. Could you please not put my allergen in the sandwich, and could you use fresh gloves? That's prudent behavior. He was prudent in that he was carrying his emergency medication. He had an EpiPen with him. You can't possibly prepare for someone throwing your allergen at you, and seeing a life-threatening allergen come at you would be extremely distressful. Having it land on your skin is extremely distressful because you can go into allergic shock from skin contact, and the situation can go from mild to very severe within minutes. So you don't know, is this going to be a mild incident or not? We do everything we can to avoid our allergens because each exposure worsens the next allergic response. So he has that to deal with, the fact of, here I've been exposed again. If he did trigger his EpiPen, that has a toll to it, where you're taking emergency treatment. Some people have had post-traumatic stress symptoms after their incidents if they were, in a really severe situation fighting for their lives. So depending on how this plays out, he could have a loss that would be compensated by civil damages as well. Well, I was trying to think of an equivalent situation for someone who's non-allergic to understand what it would be like to have your allergen thrown at you. And I guess if someone had a handful of sharp bits of glass and nails and just released it at you, you would have the same instinctive response, to step back and avoid contact and try to prevent injury and loss that we would have seeing our allergens flying through the air at us. I'm just in shock thinking about the story and thinking about food being used as a weapon and the way it would feel to this individual who had his allergen thrown at him, because we do everything we can, the people that are functioning well with their allergies to live a safe life, to avoid eating our allergen accidentally. We take precautions, and he was trying to do that. We take precautions by carrying our epinephrine, our life-saving medication. He was doing that. We can't, it's a nightmare to think about the fact that someone might, out of the blue, throw our allergen up in our face or at our body or something like that, because that's just something you can't prepare for. And it's so immediate. It's skin contact. It's on you, and you have to react. in terms of getting it off your body, monitoring yourself for symptoms, deciding if you need life-saving medication or not. That's the epinephrine or not. Yeah. If you take the epinephrine, you're going to the hospital by ambulance, and you're going to be observed for a minimum of 4 hours, possibly for 48, because if you're having symptoms, they can go from bad to life-threatening very, very quickly. Within minutes, you can be fighting for your life. The epinephrine buys you time. It lessens your symptoms. It supports, vital life functions, breathing, the constriction of the throat, makes your heart beat stronger. It wears off. And when it does wear off, your symptoms can come back. Mm-hmm. And your reaction can even be in phases. You can fight off one phase of it and find it cycles through your body again. And treatment can be needed sometimes for 48 hours. So it really is a very serious event. I have met people who have had their first severe allergic reaction, and had it not happened in a hospital, they've told me they wouldn't have survived. They just happened to be in the right place. But, it is ironic that this sort of thing should happen in the food service area in a hospital.